arrest, you can't sue.
Yeah.
They sued the homeowners association. They settled probably in the neighborhood of $1.5 to $2 million, and with Crump as the intermediary.
Really?
So he got his cut out.
Okay. And now Zimmerman, he has an attorney he's going back. Now, who is Zimmerman going after?
He's suing everyone, and it's including the prosecutors. There's three levels of the thing. One for conspiracy, and that includes everyone but the publisher of Benjamin Crump's new book on Black genocide. I think it's HarperCollins. And then he's suing he's also involved in a suit of Diamond Eugene and Rachel Jeantel, the parents, and the state prosecutors, and Benjamin Crump.
Okay. Let's take a little commercial break, and we'll be back with more of Jack Cashel after this. He's talking about the book he wrote about the George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case, If I Had a Son. We've had Jack on several times before. Check out our Spreaker archives about the TWA 800 and the Ron Brown suspicious death in a plane crash. We'll be right back with more of Jack Cashel right after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors.
Are you ready to change your life but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey, check out our brand new sponsor, Dynamic Solutions 2. That's the number 2. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions. 424-888-2820. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you. You get a 10% discount.
Hey, you, podcast listener. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.
Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525, Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. We're talking today to Jack Cashel. He's written a book about George Zimmerman, and we're talking about the Zimmerman hoax, this new film that just came out by Joel Gilbert. I had Joel Gilbert on the show last week. Now, Jack, I cannot see any way that Zimmerman loses this lawsuit, okay? Because especially when there's a police report where they're talking about the DA's investigators are on their way to Diamond Eugene's house.
Right.
And they're sent to another house. But when you do a database search on that, Diamond Eugene comes up at that address.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And that was, the book is, by the way, it's called The Trayvon Hoax, just to clarify that, in movie, book and film, both. And they're widely available now. Just go wherever you buy books or films. But yeah, I know Joel was very excited when he discovered this, because when we got the first reports from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, it had redacted the address to which the police went looking for Diamond Eugene. And then when he got the unredacted report, it had the specific address where Diamond Eugene lived. They knew that was Diamond Eugene they were looking for. But then they get to that house, and what made this more meaningful is that the woman who directed them to that house was the one woman who had met the real Diamond Eugene. That's Trayvon's mother, Sabrina Fulton, who's currently running for county commissioner in Miami-Dade County. So this is with Hillary's endorsement. This is a problem for her. So she directs them to the house of Diamond Eugene, which would show up in the stats as Diamond Eugene's house. And there they're redirected to another house. And they go to the other house. And this is where, the 300-pound Rachel Jontel comes out telling people that she is the girl with whom Trayvon wants to hop into a bathtub. She's the hottie that Trayvon's been lusting after. And the state police, the state prosecutors choose to believe her.
Wait a second. So we have a woman who's running for office who is an eyewitness to the real Diamond Eugene.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
She is the only person, Sabrina Fulton, the biological mother of Trayvon Martin, is the only person Joel can inarguably say knew both Diamond Eugene and Rachel Jontel. What happens is when they get to the second house and Rachel Jontel appears, Sabrina Fulton, the mom, calls Diamond. The real Diamond says, "What's going on here?"
Really?
Yes, and this is where Diamond makes a rare mistake. She tweets this. She goes, Trayvon mom just called me. She think I'm the real girlfriend. What's going on here,
Oh, man.
And those tweets were, for Joel, those are like nuggets, and if, like for a gold miner, they solidified the whole scenario here, made it inarguable, as to what happened.
Okay, so now that this is out, has she made a statement?
Sabrina, she went along with Crump and them and just said, you've hurt my family, you killed my son, now you're coming out, blah, 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 blah,
Well,
but she's running for county commissioner.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. Oh, how could George Zimmerman do this? How could he dredge all this back up? He got away with murder. No one's even bothering to look at the details here of this investigation, which is solid.
Yeah.
This is solid stuff, man.
I will say this is that, for the Joel premiered this at National Press Club in Washington in September. I went to that, and it was the major media, of course, stayed totally away. And then for the next 2 months, and I helped him with this because I was sort of a disinterested third party. I can make a better pitch for him than he could make for himself sometimes.
Yeah.
And I even called the Miami Herald, I called the Orlando Sentinel, et cetera, and Breitbart, other people, and said, I said, he's done an incredible job here. You got to follow this. Just watch the movie The Trayvon Hoax or the book of the same name. And I got blown off by everyone. No one wanted to touch the story. The suit came out, and then they had to cover it.
Yeah.
But of course, they'll give it cursory coverage. They'll cover it. Even the conservative media will cover it as little as they possibly can.
Now, what?
Because they're afraid of this topic.
That is fascinating. Both sides of this, everyone's dug in, and they don't want this. They don't want, which is why no one plays the full 311 tape, which blows everything out of the water. But
right, sure.
Now the thing is, what about the prosecutors? Have they made a statement? What are they going to say?
No, the prosecutors have been quiet about this, and and when I was talking to the local reporters in Florida, I'd say, Joel can do all the research he can, but he cannot get a state prosecutor to answer his phone call.
Wow.
The Miami Herald can. They just chose not to, So it's been very frustrating. However, the opening of the lawsuit has helped a lot.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this plays out. They may get a friendly judge to dismiss it. They may say statute of limitations, blah, blah, blah. But here's the bottom line. For nearly a century, the left has had a vested interest in declaring guilty people to be innocent. They do this for political reasons. This started with Sacco and Vanzetti in the 1920s, Rosenberg's Alger Hiss, Leonard Peltier, Mumia Abu-Jamal, all the way up to the present. And this time, starting in 2012, they were now comfortable declaring a fully innocent person guilty. They were comfortable sending an innocent person to prison for the rest of his life to advance their political agenda. That was a scary turn in leftist history, and it's gone unremarked by and large.
Let me ask you this. Now, Zimmerman, after this whole incident, I remember this one incident where he had a domestic violence accusation against him. And the woman was pulled over in a car the next day, and she started talking about, hey, my ex-boyfriend, George Zimmerman, last night we had an altercation. And they ran over and unheard of, okay, those kind of circumstances, that somebody would be arrested under those kind of circumstances.
Right.
Now, but the thing is, George, though, has done damage to his own reputation, this Confederate flag business and stuff like that. What do you make of all that?
He's the first to admit it. The George Zimmerman before, just to give you an example of what Zimmerman was like before this happened, in 2011, he personally led a crusade to get justice for a black homeless man who had been beaten up by the white son of a police lieutenant in Sanford, Florida.
Right.
He successfully did it to the point where the son was arrested and the police chief had to resign. And Zimmerman led the crusade. He went from church to church handing out flyers. He made a public statement, which the media had his statement, demanding justice for this poor black homeless guy. At the same time, he's mentoring two black teenagers whose father is in prison for life. This is the person he was. He was married. He had a good job. He was going to college. He was on the right career path. And then after this happened, and he'll tell you that. I mean, if you know him, he'll say it. He goes, if they said, if this is the person they think I'm going to be that person. Mm. And after the event, too, the only people who would give him a fair hearing were people who were sympathetic. A lot of them were, rogue elements who were a little rough around the edges. But those are the only people who talk to him or listen to him, Since that time, he's really worked very hard to turn his life around and to become the person he once was.
Yeah, if you have a rape victim, a woman is raped, a lot of times they'll become promiscuous because they want to take ownership over what was stolen from them,
Right.
So you believe it was that kind of trauma that caused the Zimmerman to kind of go, because some of this road rage stuff, some of this stuff has to be his fault, right? Some of these are, right? Yeah,
and my dealings with him, he's so gentle and respectful. I mean, it's not to say he couldn't have some evil, bad side, but I've met his parents several times. He takes care of his, grandmother with Alzheimer's now, that's his job. That's the person he was immediately after that trial is not the person who he historically was or is now.
Is he employed today?
No, he's employed in odd jobs and helping out his parents. I mean, he stays in Florida because his parents are there, and they're very close. His grandmother has Alzheimer's. They had to go into hiding with the parents had to go into hiding after the trial with their Alzheimer-ridden mother, or mother-in-law. And George helps them out with her and does various odd jobs, basically. That's how he survives.
And, Jack, you think there might be some issues with this lawsuit over the statute of limitations?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just speculating, though.
Okay.
If they want to get rid of the lawsuit, sometimes they have a way of doing it.
Yeah.
For instance, when Zimmerman sued NBC for